So, very quick recap from last week. All of your characters were involved in a restless night's sleep that led to what seemed to be a very vivid, lifelike dream involving a range of characters from the human to the very inhuman. Some of you woke up with fading scars from that dream that seemed and felt extremely lifelike. But at the end of the day, everyone survived without any major issues, just some slight trauma from the dream itself. And as a result of that, everybody passed through the first tier of that challenge, the Y337 Dreamers Challenge, taking out Lawrence the Giant Toad, and subsequently also did not pass the second part of that challenge when Zachary cast a sleep spell, taking out all other contenders except Alia and Ivy, who refused to fight, thus ending the sequence and being engulfed in a fiery inferno. So that's where we left off. Where we pick up tonight is where things start to get into the meat of what's actually happening. So from Player Diary, from the Fall Season Earth, is where we start. And it leads in with the transformation occurred at approximately 10 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. As far as I could tell, anyone who was indoors when it happened died instantly. If you had any sort of roof over you, you were dead. That included people in cars, aeroplanes, subways, even tents and cardboard boxes. Hell, probably umbrellas too, though I'm not sure about that one. I'm not going to lie, you guys who are inside, probably warm and asleep and dreaming about some random bullshit, I'm jealous. You're the lucky ones. You were just gone, splattered into dust during the transformation. It was a Tuesday, and the calendar had just ticked over to January 3rd. A terrible winter storm had descended on North America, and half the country was buried in snow and ice. In Seattle, we didn't have too much snow that night, but it was well below zero, which was unusually cold even for January. I'm sure in other parts of the world where it was warmer and not in the middle of the night, many more people survived. Many more. And that was from Crawler 1337. In terms of where you all are, the fall has just occurred. All over the world, buildings are suddenly just gone, concertinaing in on themselves in the blink of an eye, and then just gone, leaving a gaping crater where they once stood. Planes in mid-flight crumple and fold impossibly small, and then they too are just gone. Cars fold in mid-drive, taking entire families, sporting teams, and school buses out in an instant. Trees of people underneath them collapse and disappear. Tents full of people collapse inwards as if sucked into a black hole. This all happens without warning. There is no preamble. There is no foreshadowing, no ominous rumbling, no dust clouds, no explosions, no eruptions. It's all over too fast for that. In the blink of an eye, the Earth is changed forever. Not everyone is killed, though. All over the planet, many were fortunate enough not to be under a roof and somehow managed to survive the destruction of an entire planet. But many lives are lost. Too many. A fisherman is stranded at sea. He survived, standing in the front of the boat checking a line, and the shade canopy at the rear collapsed inward, taking the rear of the half of the boat with it. He has no way of getting to shore. A convertible driver is so shocked to see every other car on the road implode and disappear that she misses a turn and crashes a guardrail, disappearing into a ravine. Even those submerged underwater and on board the International Space Station are not spared, they and their vessels disappearing with the rest of the fall. Strangely, some pets and all children under the age of 18 that survived the fall are frozen in place, surrounded in a barely visible shimmering rectangle of pale white light. Only the adults remain able to move. And a voice suddenly enters the mind of every living thing left on planet Earth, including all of you, feeling like it's speaking directly into the brains of those who remain. For those of you who took part in the dreaming, that voice seems eerily familiar, but you can't quite place it. Many barely notice the voice at all, shell-shocked by what they just witnessed. Unprecedented destruction on a global scale. And the voice proceeds to enunciate. Surviving humans, take note. Per Syndicate rules, subsection 543 of the Precious Elemental Reserves Code, having failed to file a proper appeal for mineral and elemental rights within 50 solars of first contact, your planet has been successfully seized and is currently being mined of all requested elements, deposits by the assigned planetary reagent. Every interior of your world has been crushed, and all raw materials, organic and inanimate, are in the process of being mined for all requested elements. As this is happening, complete chaos is taking part over the face of the Earth, as those who survive, upon hearing this, some frozen in place, others just trying to do everything they can to pick through rubble and find loved ones, looking desperately for cars that disappeared. Per the mind Material Reclamation Act, along with subsection 35 of the Indigenous Planetary Species Protection Act, any surviving humans will be given the opportunity to reclaim their lost matter. The Boreant Corporation, having been assigned regency over this solar system, is allowed to choose the manner of this reclamation, and they have chosen option 3, also known as the 18-level World Dungeon. The Boreant Corporation retains all rights to broadcast, exploit, and otherwise control all aspects of the World Dungeon and will remain in control as long as they adhere to Syndicate regulations regarding world resource reclamation. Upon successful completion of level 18 of the World Dungeon, regency of this planet will revert to the successor. A Syndicate Neural Observer, AI, myself, has been created and dispatched to this planet to supervise the creation of the World Dungeon and ensure all the rules and regulations are properly followed. Please pay careful attention to the following information as it will not be repeated. Per the Indigenous Planetary Species Protection Act, all remaining materials, estimated to be 99.99999% of the sifted matter, is currently being repurposed for the subterranean World Dungeon. The first level of this dungeon will open approximately 18 seconds after the end of this announcement. The first level entrances will be open for exactly 1 human hour and 1 hour only. Once the entrances are closed, you may no longer enter. If you enter, you may not leave until you have either completed all 18 levels of the World Dungeon or if you meet certain other requirements. If you choose not to enter the World Dungeon, you'll have to sustain yourself upon the surface of the planet, and this may be the last communication you receive during your lifetime. All previously processed matter and elements are forfeit. However, you are free to mine and utilize any remaining and naturally occurring resources for your own benefit. The Boreant Corporation wishes you luck and thanks you for the opportunity. For those who wish to exercise their right of resource reclamation, please take note. That's you guys. There will be 150,000 level 1 entrances added to the world. These entrances will be marked and easy to spot. The length of time you have to complete each dungeon will be at the discretion of this AI. My advice to each of you is to be fast, be efficient, and be thorough. Warnings will be issued in advance of dungeon closure. We are, after all, not savages. There will be 75,000 entrances to level 2. There will be 37,500 entrances to level 3, 18,750 to level 4, 9,375 entrances to level 5, and 4,688 entrances to level 6. The number of available entrances to the next level will continue to decrease by half, rounding up until the 18th level, which will only have 2 entrances and a single exit. Crawlers who choose to enter the World Dungeon must find a staircase and descend to the next level down before the time is up for that level. Once the time has passed, the level will be reclaimed and all remaining matter in the level, organic and inanimate, will be forfeit. Generated loot and other matter that is not gathered and claimed may be placed in the Syndicate market. Additional rules come into play once any crawlers descend to 4th and 10th floors. These rules will be explained when and if any crawlers reach this level. Some levels will also contain a safe room to allow you to rest and recover, eat, clean up, and take care of any required bio-waste functions. The bathrooms are individual instances and can only be occupied by 1 crawler at a time, and they will take the form of the bio-waste facility that your race requires. The bathrooms are also the only place that you will not be observed by the system or live streamed/recorded for our viewing audience. You are very welcome. Should you survive level 1, the world between will be open to you, but more on that for those that make it that far. If you have any additional questions or wish to file an appeal, such requests must be submitted in writing directly to the closest Syndicate office. There are currently no Syndicate offices on Earth, so good luck with that. All humans under the age of 18 will be frozen in stasis and remain with their parent guardian who chooses to remain outside of the dungeon. This goes for human fur babies, sometimes referred to your nomenclature as pets, whose owners have developed a familial bond. Where no parent guardian is available outside of a dungeon, under 18s and fur babies will be transferred into a Boreant holding and oversight facility until the completion of the crawl. Thank you for being part of the Syndicate. Have a great day. And with that, you are all... Nope. You are all...
Sorry, I missed that.
In wherever you landed to not be under roof to survive this calamity that has just engulfed the earth. The world has collapsed around you. There's a whole range of different family members and friends and those that are close to you that we have no idea, or at least I don't, what has happened with them. So starting off with Rick, I need to know where you are tell me about your human, where they are and how they survived, and where they find themselves at the moment. Take it away,
So,
Rick.
Rick, the Aussie paramedic, is currently in Dublin, Ireland. It's 1 in the afternoon on a Sunday. Rick was actually working the afternoon shift, but he'd taken his hour lunch break with his partner Denny to just grab some food from just like a local food stand, and he'd actually met up with his wife and 2 daughters. And they were actually just standing out on the street eating and talking. When it happened, Denny had gone into a like a secondhand store, like a thrift store, because he thought he saw something he liked in the window when it happened. And Rick has, after making sure his wife and daughters are okay, is basically just going to run to the first person who isn't disappeared dust, like, any car crashes or anything like that, and just start helping anyone who looks like they need help in any way that he can, once he's certain that his own family is okay and not, dust.
So, wife and 2 daughters. The 2 daughters are frozen in stasis. Your wife is choosing to stay with them. They're immediately frozen as soon as as soon as the fall happened and the message finished. All fur babies who had a close relationship to their owners, and everyone under the age of 18 whose parent or guardians weren't killed, have been frozen. So your 2 children,
my fur
your
babies
wife's remaining with
both have
them.
full beards, very furry babies. My 2
Your
young human daughters,
your
covered
2
in hair
human
like the
daughters.
werewolves they are. Okay, he's panicking now. Dude's lose his fucking mind. Oh, to describe Rick, Rick looks exactly the way that I described him last episode. just a normal looking, like, middle-aged dude. Like,
except this time
gray
minus
brown.
the monk weapons.
Well, actually, he's wearing pretty much exactly the same outfit you saw him in last time. He just doesn't have a backpack or a quarterstaff. His clothes virtually didn't change. Still sort of like dark brown hair, sort of graying at the sides, very clearly. Little salt and pepper. Just Rick's just a dude, guys. Rick doesn't know what's going on. Rick's panicking.
He's
That's
just
it.
seeing almost the entirety of Dublin come down around him.
My next, I do have a question. Sorry,
Mm.
because that was a lot. I was trying to take notes, but
I will put all of that in for you guys into the notes
Didn't you
so that
send
you
us a
have
lot
it.
of that
It's already on the notes
Prelude
page.
in the
It already
notes?
is, but I have made there's maybe 3 sentences of adjustment. But yes, you do already have it. That's part of session 0.
A quick question I do have, because I didn't go back and read the session 0 stuff, because
Yeah,
I'm bad at this when I'm not in charge. Why would I put in the effort? That's your fucking job, Papa.
Noted.
No. But my genuine question.
Good Jays go bad.
During that whole message thing, Rick would have been paying as much attention as he could while trying to figure out, hey, why are my daughters just frozen? Did it state how I unfreeze them at any point? Because I don't know if that just went over my head while I was trying to.
You unfreeze them by successfully having someone on Earth successfully complete the dungeon crawl through 18 levels.
Yeah.
Fuck. I don't know what a dungeon is, so.
No, you don't yet.
He's heard the term dungeon, but specifically someone once made a joke about a sexual kind when he was in high school, but that's about as much information.
How did I know that was going to go that
way? I was wondering how long it would take, and I'm surprised
Rick has never seen Lord of the Rings. Rick is just the most dad of all the dads.
By the time everyone has finished, we go through everyone is. The 18 seconds will have passed, and the next sequence, and you'll find out more. But at the moment, all you know is that those kids are frozen in stasis. That your wife is okay, and you're in Dublin. And there's a lot of other shock people around, including other children, some pets that aren't quite as well cared for as others are not frozen in place. Some lost their owners, some haven't, and there's just chaos all around.
Once he confirms that his daughters are frozen but safe, he will leave them with his wife if she's in a state to do that, and he will still go and help any adults who are not frozen who might need help nearby.
Yeah, so Rick heads off to do that. His wife, who fully understands that despite all the chaos, exactly where he's coming from and his background and why he's doing what he's doing, is currently staying with the children, one arm on each, and is having a close look to see if she is able to pick up, hold, or in any way engage with those kids or get them out of that stasis field that they seem to be trapped in. She doesn't seem to be getting any harm from the field, but she hasn't made any headway into it either at this point. So we leave them and we head over to Phokianus. How did you survive this?
So Phokianus, I want you to picture this, if you will, was at work at one of his nocturnal night shifts, if you will. So if you can sort of imagine, there'd be streets similar to these in your own towns. In Adelaide, we call it Hindley Street. There's a subtle stench of kebab, maybe a bit of vomit, perhaps a bit of urine mixing in together. That dulcet tones in the background.
The beautiful Adelaide streets.
Bit of car action up and down the street. Bit of as they drive past, and there's Focky at the front. Big double doors, bit of a rope, bit of a checkboard, little earpiece, standing by another fellow. Ladies, how we look? Yeah, good tonight. Yep. No, mate. Really? Those shoes? Fuck off. Go on. Really? Get away. No. You? ID. Usual things.
Oh, I feel some of that really closely. Oh, we lost him. He's we just lost Phokianus to the fall. He didn't make it after all. He's got to rewrite another character.
Stepped inside at the wrong moment.
I've got your audio. I don't have your picture back yet. Hang on, I might need to re-add you. In the overlay, I'm talking about, sorry. On the control.
Oh, there we are. Yep.
Oh, there you go. You're back. All right, carry on.
There we go.
Fuck off, not in those shoes. Yep.
Basically, Phokianus is at work. He's outside the venue. The wonderful nightclub that has, for some reason, a very French name, even though it's clearly not in France. And in no way really reminisces anything about France, I guess. Where is it? I wrote the name down. Oh, God. I should have read these notes quicker. La Friction.
I was actually going to jump over to it.
It was worth. So yeah, basically, Phokianus, is quite surprised when he turns around and sees that nightclub is, gone. A little confused and somewhat perplexed about where Hades might be, given that he left Hades at home, and Hades is as good as, family to Phokianus.
Well, fortunately, for Phokianus, Hades had made one of his regular nightly escapes while his boss was off doing his nighttime sojourns, and was off sniffing around some of his lady friends in the neighborhood, and normally times his entries and exits in line with his owner's entries and exits from home. So this had never been picked up by Phokianus, who, let's be honest, he lifts, but he doesn't think a great deal. Hi. So as a result, Hades is out in one of the neighbors' backyards, where he was sniffing around one of his lady friends, when he suddenly held in stasis mid sniff, and that's where he currently stands in that stasis field. With that, we move over to Ivy. And feel free to incorporate the two of you, because
I can't speak yet.
A bit of a symbiotic relationship. So you could describe where your character was, but I think it makes more sense to throw to Ivy personally.
Squeak, squeak, squeak.
Well, on this one particular day, it was set for the raids for Final Fantasy XIV to release. And Ivy and her two friends have a very weird tradition where every time it has a new release of raids or extremes, they meet up in a nearby park and just wait out the very, very long queue times. Just being your average idiots. So Ivy herself has grabbed her laptop, her racoon, because let's be honest, if she were to leave Alia at home, there would not be a single crumb left.
And then is she carrying Alia, her pet raccoon, or is Alia
Pretty
in
much.
her
One arm
support animal
has her
vest?
laptop, and the other arm is carrying this chunk of a raccoon.
And does is Jake one of the people that is with Ivy in the park waiting out the?
So both Jake and Ariel are both there.
Yep. Okay.
And they're just, meeting up, chilling, waiting for the update to finish. When all of this happens.
And thankfully, you guys don't bear witness to too much tragedy and chaos, seeing as how where you are in the very far northern hemisphere, it's around 4 or 5 a.m. The park is not terribly heavily populated, so thankfully, no children on the play equipment, no tragedy is directly witnessed by the group, unlike some of the others, especially Rick and his family in the middle of the street in Dublin, and Fokianis in the nightclub, who just sees behind him in his mid-sentence and kicking people out. Everyone who's outside lining up under the ropes survives, but the punters who are heading in the front door disappear in just a red mist. The entire Le Friction just disappears in the blink of an eye. Not even any dust left behind. It's just a complete implosion and disappearance. It just gone. The entire block, the seedy street of the night, is various amounts of population inside those buildings. It's just gone. And Fokianis is left with his clipboard and his earpiece and a shocked expression, along with the rest of the crowd who were gathering on the outside, who now begin to panic. For Ivy and your group, you see the buildings around you disappearing, but it seems surreal. It's not directly affecting you. You're not sitting under anything. You're just plonked on the grass, waiting out the raid timer, and as a result, you're seeing all of this disappearance around you without having any real frame of reference. It seems very surreal and strange, and almost like you're on a bit of an acid trip, because you don't hear any screams, you don't see any tragedy, you just see your entire town disappearing in front of your eyes. And finally, we come to Zachary. So, Zach, how do you survive this?
I don't know how you would. He wouldn't be in London. He'd be, it's a good place. Newcastle. There, that's ominous. What happened to the old castle? It'd be like in.
Oh, so good.
It'd be in the middle of town doing street magic in between big shows. Doing one where he has big boxes, and his wife / magic assistant Angelica is she goes into one box, and then he'll wave his magic wand, and she'll appear in another box, and then it's a crowd of 10 or 20 people there. So she goes into one box, he waves his wand, cracks it on the side of the box to make it disappear, and then the boxes disappear, and so do all the buildings around them. And Angelica is just standing there, moving, because she's in the middle of moving to the other box. And so all the kids that were watching are frozen, and they're just in the middle of this big town, so all these massive buildings would have just disappeared.
And what do Zach and Angelica do then as a result of, in a reaction to just this mayhem that has happened in an instant around them?
They're pretty shocked. But they use their leadership skills and charisma from their magician abilities, and sort of take charge of people and sort of lead them towards the entrance to a dungeon.
Okay. Oh, okay.
It would have been so much more fun if you were practicing a fucking trick and then turned around and that happened.
I so thought that was going a different direction.
Yeah,
yeah.
you know what we all think of when we think of party magicians? Charismatic, natural leaders. You know, that classic thing we all think of when we think of
Not the
party
perceived.
magicians.
He's not a
Presto.
party
Wait.
magician. He's professional.
He's a professional. But what I was waiting for was for Angelica to be in the box when that's where I thought you were going. I thought she was going to be in it when the collapse happened, and then that's where I
You
thought you were
thought she
going. Like,
was
oh my
dead.
goodness, this is getting dark fast. But I didn't know whether you were going to have her live or die, so I had a plan for both. That's all right. You've got a better version than what I had. And just retrospectively, one of Ivy's friends, Ariel, is under 18. I missed that in the notes, and she is frozen in place, with Alia, Ivy, and Jake being unfrozen and just completely bewildered as to what's happened to their friend and what's happened to the rest of their town. Just to clarify that one. So if we then pan away from Zach and we start to take an aerial view of what's happening, and it could be any one of the cities or towns that you're in, it doesn't matter which one, we don't know, as we zoom back and just have this surreal look, and we see the whole landscape is dotted with craters and chaos, and you can see people like ants moving around, some towards the dungeon portals, which we'll get to in a moment, others away, others just huddling or falling or turtling. Some are trying to drag or move their children, others are just huddled in complete PTSD, not knowing what to do. They're just shocked beyond all ability of their mind to cope. It's just broken from the situation. And the worst part is, regardless of whether they stay on the surface or enter the dungeon, things are just beginning. And thank you very much for that, Raid. Sorry, I can't say too much because we're right in the middle of it all, but thank you very much, Raiders. So with that, each of you see giant beacons lighting up. All over the planet, there are 150,000 of these pillars of rainbow light. They drive up from the ground and they just disappear with no diffusion into the stratosphere and possibly beyond. The portals to the dungeon are now open. Each of you begin heading to your nearest portal. Oh, sorry, no. I need to just confirm because otherwise you're going to be re-rolling a character. Everybody is heading towards a portal, right? Just in the interest of efficiency of storytelling.
Yeah.
You know what? A big part of me wanted to say no. For the sake of being nice. Yes.
Okay, so
only because it's your first time.
What do you
look,
mean
it was
bad
going to be a really
patch?
easy conversation if anyone doesn't want to, no longer wants their character to take part, or they've had a change of heart, you are welcome to stay on the surface. You'll just need to re-roll another character while we play out tonight, and then I have a way for you to rejoin next session. So if you would like to do that, I have you covered. So with that and less things, no one else has spoken up. Rick disengages himself from his wife, his kids. Interestingly, with just paying attention to what's going on and the training you've had and the things that you do in your day job, Rick, you're actually able to take in a bit more than the average person who's dealing with this this chaos. And you notice that before you actually get to your wife and say your farewells and we'll get to that in a moment, but you notice that she's been able to move the two girls closer together, and she seems to have found a way where it's slow, it's arduous, but she almost like moving a really heavy bookshelf on your own. She is able to tilt and move and reposition the girls so it looks like she's not going to be stuck in the middle of a street in Ireland. She will be able to get somewhere, hopefully safe, with those girls. Do you wish to say any goodbyes and role play that out, or are you happy for us to just have Rick essentially express why you're heading to the dungeon, why you're leaving your family behind?
What actually happens is Rick goes towards the dungeon entrance, not because he realizes what it is, but because he thinks there's been another accident and accidentally just kind of stumbles in. He doesn't mean to go. He just ends up there by accident. So he doesn't actually get a chance to say goodbye to any of them because
Okay.
Rick is incompetent.
in that instance, then, so one of the 150,000 of those portals, for the sake of story, we'll say, is opened up right near Rick and his family, and clumsily stumbles in with a heartfelt wave as he falls in. And we'll get back to Rick in a moment. So Fokianis, what takes you away from the crowd to yours is a little way off. The Adelaide is not one of the most populous centres, so there's only one portal. So you are going to you have an hour before that the dungeon entrance closes, and it looks a little ways off. Despite the giant pillar of light, it is not as close as it was for Rick, where the color engulfed him, and then he fell into it. You will have to make a conscious decision to head towards it. If that's
How
what you
will I
want to
know
do.
it exists? No, that's fine. So
He's been told.
Fokianis gets around town on those wonderful purple or green e-scooters. So one of them happens to be nearby, and you're going to see him hop on e-scooter, press play on headphones, internal track as he cruises along through Carnage.
So with a complete, almost complete lack of ability to empathize or even process what's happened, or even really an understanding,
I don't know what's happened, mate.
Fokianis
Shit's just gone.
Is heading towards
so fucked.
the giant pretty colored lights to maybe be a hero, or maybe just be a bug attack.
Somewhere there's a rope
being drawn
that
to the
needs
light.
manning. You can't just let anyone in.
All right, so that brings us to Ivy and Alia, who Alia is still our non-sentient raccoon. You guys are there. 3 of you are still okay. Strangely, Alia hasn't been affected by the stasis field, even though you guys have an extremely close relationship. But that doesn't really register too much at the moment. What you're focused on is that Ariel seems to be frozen in place. The rest of you seem to be okay, and your small town has just been absolutely devastated around you. Being a small location, you guys are in the same boat. The portal that has appeared is quite a ways off, and if you are going to make your way down into that dungeon, you will need to, anyone who is from your group who is going will need to find some mode of transportation other than your feet, and get moving towards it quite quickly. So what takes you away from your group? What do you do to head to the dungeon? Ivy, especially because Alia can't talk yet.
Yeah, the chunky raccoon doesn't need to talk. Well, obviously this is a shock to Ivy. She doesn't normally see, people just kind of freeze. That only ever happens on Discord and other
Bad internet.
apps. However, she does look over to Jake, his very much not top fit, healthy form, over on the swings with his laptop on his knees. There's no way he's gonna make it anywhere. Realizing this, Ivy's just kind of going to pick up her raccoon, cradling Alia in her arms very tightly, probably more tightly than Alia would like, and just start walking.
All right.
Turns out Ivy's not good at goodbyes, and despite any protests Jake may have, she will continue walking.
In the interest of getting you there on time, can I assume Ivy's got a driver's license, or can at least operate
Ivy
a car?
does not have
right?
a driver's license. She
You're
has one of
assuming
those
lots.
old bicycles with the basket for Alia.
Perfect. That is even better. So Ivy, putting the chunky raccoon into the basket, hops on and starts pedaling without saying a word to Jake, who is desperately trying to talk her out of it, leaves her there with Ariel, and off towards the portal they
I feel
go.
like we should get an ET montage.
Yes, except she can't yet. That'd be pretty amazing. And then Zach, so you said you and your wife are leading a group of survivors towards a portal. Is that correct? You're in Newcastle, so your portal is relatively nearby. It's it's less than 10 minutes walk from where you were performing. It's very close. You can easily get there by foot.
Yeah, we're sort of calming people down with stuff we have on our person. Like my wand can make a bouquet of flowers come out the end of it, and
Isn't that amazing, people, though, rather than
Yeah.
calming them down?
This is what I got.
Dun, da-da.
So I will say that that as you're heading off, there are some many couples and parents survived, and their children are still frozen in place where the show was. So there's a mixture of both parents staying with the children after some hurried conversation. There's some who decide that one or the other is going to head off to try and do something for Earth for this calamity. In the very small amount of processing time they had, they made that decision. Others stick together. Others, very rare instances, there are both parents leave their children with another family member who was at the show with them, and both of them head off to try and make a difference. A very rare situation, but it is in your group. So you will need to let me know when we get to the portal entrance. Actually, I'll ask now. Are both you and Angelica heading down? Because I know the answer for everybody else. Is she going to enter the portal as well?
Yeah, I guess she would, unless like there are a bunch of kids she needed to stay to look after. But yeah, no, she would come too.
Yep. I'm not going to ask you her motivations for the entire time. I just want to make sure I get that part of your story right. So as everybody is heading towards a portal, and Rick has already fallen in. So for your different versions of this, how you're managing this, from the this is just a normal Tuesday night, I put my headphones on and take the e-scooter for a ride, through to just complete mental break of just keep putting one foot in front of the other with the
Can I just
chaos.
point out, I love
Yeah.
how you said that Adelaide's not very big and I have to ride an hour. Where do you think in Adelaide an hour away from the city is of any significance? Just asking.
On the very outskirts, probably the next town over. I have been to Adelaide several times, and it's beautifully laid out, by the way, with the grid
He just
pattern.
hates it that much.
No, I like Adelaide. I really like Adelaide. So with chaos,
Anywhere outside of Adelaide is of major significance.
maybe you're heading up to into the hills. Maybe you're going up to the German town for a bratwurst or something.
Oh, the sausage jar.
So with that chaos and confusion breaking out all around you in your various different processes, you've made your way to the giant glowing pillar of light. For some of you, you appear to be the only one. Others, like Zachary and his wife Angelica, you have arrived there with a group of people, or maybe just with your pet raccoon. And as you arrive, there's this glowing, comforting warmth radiating from a hole that's at the base of that pillar of light. Some of you pause slightly before stepping in, taking one last look back. Others just march steadfastly forward. Still others almost creep into the portal as if hoping not to be seen. And some of you just try and ride your e-scooter down into the portal, which you sort of semi-successfully do. As you enter through that, so for Rick, you pick yourself up and find yourself on a staircase, having fallen flat on your back, but taken no damage. For everyone else, as you step into that portal, looking at it, for those of you who were familiar with video games, and I know Rick wasn't, but he fell face first, or face upwards. It's essentially like an old school Diablo portal, where it's that kind of glowing, shimmering light, except it was in the ground instead of being a portal that's raised above it. And as you step into it, you kind of have this perception shift where, as instead of your foot stepping down into the hole, everything shifts to come back into an even kilter, and you're just walking down an ornate staircase. You're warm, you're comfortable, it's well lit. It seems like the whole atmosphere has been designed to make you feel comfortable and at home. Each step appears to be made of wrought iron, and the whole thing's wide enough to accommodate 20 people walking side by side, which is interesting because the moment you step through, with the exception of Alia and Ivy, all the rest of you find yourselves alone on that staircase. Zachary, you and Angelica step through together, but she's no longer with you. She's got her own path to walk. Everyone else, you are on your own, coming down into that warmth, that comfort, and you just keep heading deeper. There's nowhere else to go, because when you look back, you're unnerved to see that the staircase you've walked down, it's just gone. It's swallowed up by this inky void. which is another thing that just starts to trigger some of these distant memories, and it reminds you eerily, some more so than others, of this vivid dream you recently had, and this strange memory of a really weird guy throwing a stick into it that he could have been using to hit things. But it's not quite coalescing, because I mean, that was a dream. And so those steps go on and on and on. And you notice as you go down that you're starting to see these really odd patterns carved into the wall around you, and the stairs and the handrails. And they could be fish. Maybe they're demons. Maybe they're demon fish. But you do know that they give all of you an uneasy feeling. And those stairs weren't there moments ago. There was just a glowing blue portal in the ground. And I mean, obviously the portal wasn't there, but it appeared with this giant light, and the world has fallen apart. And your thoughts are just this chaotic jumble as you try and process what's going on. Or if you're Phocyonis, you're bopping along as if the music was still playing, till you realize that when you hit the stairs, the e-scooter has just disintegrated. The parts are still there, but it fell apart with your weight as you went through the portal and just landed on it, on a set of stairs. Your earpiece has fallen out somewhere. You can't locate it. And the phone itself has also skittered somewhere out of your pocket or grasp, wherever you had it, and it's gone from your view. But there is a pile of scooter junk at the stairs, which I will ask you, do you want to try and cart that with you, or are you just going to leave that debris where it is? That's for
Grab it.
Phocyonis. You're not there. Phocyonis, are you picking up the debris of your scooter that shattered under your weight when you tried to ride it through the portal, or are you just going to leave it there, dust yourself off, and keep walking?
I missed the bits of what you were saying there due to crap internet. So I'm going to assume that something bad happened to Phocyonis.
No, nothing bad happened. You rode your e-scooter through the portal and landed with all of your significant weight on the stairs leading downward that were on the other side of that portal, and the e-scooter has just shattered and disintegrated under your weight. Your phone's gone, your earpieces, all of that has gone as you landed and jarred. But do you want to pick up the destroyed remnants of your e-scooter and bring it with you, or do you want to just leave it behind and head down the stairs?
I'm good. Not. I'm gonna look and go. Okay, he's dead. I'm gonna leave it.
Yep. Okay. So as you're going down, so we've gone through that bit, and each of you reach the bottom of the stairs, and you each find your own version of this wooden, really ornately carved arch doorway. And again, but a much bigger version. At the top of that doorway is a really huge version, giant version, like dragon skull size version of that demon fish that you saw the small depictions of as you walk down. And you stare at it in confusion. You hear this new distinct voice coming into your heads, and it's a different tone. It's a different voice to the one that spoke to the whole world. And it's just seems very clinically to be imparting you with some knowledge. It says, this is a rendition of the Kuatin, the dominant species of the Borant system and principal owners of the Borant Corporation. Make sure you recognize us. There'll be a test later. And then you'd hear this, what you think is a laugh at its own joke of, but there's nothing amusing to the normal person about the stupidity that's just said, especially on top of all the chaos that has been wreaked on the world. And at that point, your world freezes. Each of you freeze in place. You're only able familiarly to move your eyes and your head. The rest of you is frozen. Again, there is more and more about this that is starting to feel familiar from that strange dream you had. And now all you see is black. From that darkness, a screen lights up in front of your eyes. You can't see the source of the light, but it's right there in front of you, filling your entire vision. And it details a list of classes and races available to you as an entrant into this dungeon crawl. For brevity, you scroll through those options, the text moving with your eyes, and then your eyes go wide in shock, because right at the top of the screen is some very large text, and it says, note, your choice of race will be permanent. Your choice may result in forever giving up being human in appearance and constitution. Should you survive enough dungeon levels, you'll have one further opportunity to change your race. However, it will be up to the system AI which races are available to you, just as it is now. Choose carefully. And to speed up this process, because we've had a session 0 and we've had the prelude. Essentially, what each of your characters are going to be doing is you are going to be selecting the race and class combinations that you had overlay your sleeping form, and that is something that that you are feeling a really strong pull in your instincts to do. That it doesn't quite make sense to you, but you just feel this familiarity with the race and the class that each of you choose. And that goes for Alia as well. And so from this point on, we're rolling them into the game as they were the same look, etc., as the dream sequence. So you won't need to re-describe the characters themselves again. So you make your selections, each of you. You stagger out of the darkness into a narrow stone hallway surrounded by flickering light, and then instantly, the instant you take that staggering step, again, annoyingly, which is starting to get to be a real pain in the ass, you are frozen again, only able to move your head and your neck. And as you look around, you hear this emotionless voice just going through each person as they pop up. It goes through, starting with Crawler 4119. You have been assigned the Crawler name Ivy S. You have chosen race Elf. You have chosen class Cleric. You are level 2, having been awarded 1 bonus level for completing Dreamer Sequence Y337, codename Lawrence. You have been awarded 1 bonus ability point for your Tier 2 effort in the dreaming. Now, this is not something that you guys are aware of. So, Ivy, as a result of your tied first place, and while I'm going through everybody else, can you please go and add, before the end of this dungeon that we are just starting out, so you don't have to do it straight away, but before we exit, you need to allocate 1 bonus point to any one of your stats. So that is a result of your tied for first place in the Battle Royale. Then we have Crawler 4120. You've been assigned the Crawler name Alia S. You have been granted sentience with a probability of 0.01%. You are an anomaly. You have chosen race Raccoon. You have chosen class Ranger. You are level 2, having been awarded 1 bonus level completing Dreamer Sequence Y337, codename Lawrence. And the same deal as with Ivy. Miss Racer, you need to put 1 bonus stat point. If you're not sure how to do it, please just message me and I'll send it through to you after we finish tonight's session. Just how you add manually an extra bonus point to your stats. 1 stat of your choice for each of you. Crawler 4121. You have been assigned Crawler name Phoccionus. There is no for the rest of you. You don't have any letters after your name. It's just your first name. I'm pointing that out because it's important. You're level 2, having been awarded 1 bonus level for completing Dreamer Sequence Y337, codename Lawrence. Crawler 4122. You have been assigned the Crawler name Zachary. You are level 2, having been awarded 1 bonus level for completing Dreamer Sequence Y337, codename Lawrence. You're starting to get sick of hearing this as you're craning your neck around, seeing who's being talked about, and you do start seeing some shadowy figures emerging around you. For those of you, depending on which direction you face, being vamped into existence. Crawler 4123. You have been assigned the Crawler name Rick. You are level 2, having been awarded 1 bonus level for completing Dreamer Sequence Y337, codename Lawrence. And with that, you are still disoriented. You're coming out of that darkness. Things are starting to be easier to see. You're starting to actually see these vague shimmering shapes taking form, and they're starting to look a bit familiar to you. But there's still more information coming into your ears as you're paying attention to the world around you and starting to see where you are. As dreamers, you'll note that your statistics have been allocated a bonus feat in line with your performance in the dreaming, and you've also been upgraded to level 2. None of you achieved Tier 2 in the Y337 Dream Sequence Battle Royale, so no powerhouse rewards will be awarded. And the quick summary, I know I sent them through to you. Zachary received the feat Weapon Master, Phoccionus the feat Tavern Brawler, Rick received the feat Linguist, Ivy received the feat Actor, and Alia received the feat Tough. If you haven't already added them in, please just make sure they go in before the end of the dungeon level as well. And Ivy and Alia, in case anyone missed it with Botchy Internet, you have a bonus stat point. So this is being said now directly to you. Players Ivy S and Alia S, you each received equal second place in the BR after your refusal to fight to the end and received powerhouse rewards and levels. You received the minor reward of 1 stat point that you may allocate to your strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, or charisma. This must be done before exiting this level, or the stat point will be forfeit back to the system. So you each get your bearings and you take a look around. There's 4 other people other than yourself that just have bamped like Nightcrawler style into existence at the same time, all locked in place. You're in different angles. Some of you have gone, facing a wall and you're trying to crane your neck around to see what's happening behind you. Others are facing outward and you're seeing some of these other people start to appear. And each of the players, as you look around, has a big glowing green smiley face over the top of their heads, which really slowly fades, but not until you've all had a chance to see it, even those of you who are craning your necks around. And underneath that glowing smiley face, there's 2 pointed brackets with, in capital letters, party name TBC. And that also quickly fades underneath the green smiley face. So you see around you, each of you, an eclectic mix of humans and exotic species, indicating that not everyone chose to remain human when making their choices, which you obviously heard as well when players were landing in. You're standing in what appears to be a fully enclosed cinder block hallway. It's clearly lit by torches at regular intervals. Your nostrils fill with a strange mix of disinfectant and decay, which only adds to your disorientation. And strangely, there's no soot or smell from the torches. They are burning clean and brightly, although flickering, like you would expect a torch mounted into. When I say torches, I'm talking timber torches wrapped in oil-soaked rags, but they don't seem to be burning low. They just have a flickering flame that is lighting the entire area around you. So you've been thrown together. You're traumatized by what each of you have witnessed to varying degrees. The only thing you have in common is that as you unfreeze, turn around and get your bearings and look around, and I'm about to load the map, you remember the people that you see from your dream battling giant monsters, and in some cases each other. And I'd like to know, as I load this map up, what do you do now?
Fuck.
The map is now up.
I'm
I'm just waiting for it to propagate. Hang on.
And
Hey,
see Zachary, I immediately take 1 step away from him. And then
Hang
1
on.
step away from Fokionis.
So Rick, as we look at the position, so Fokionis is back with his back to the inky void. Then next to Fokionis, slightly ahead and to the left, is Alia. Then heading to his right, almost still within reach, is Zach. And then Ivy is next one up. And then Rick is furthest away from Fokionis, right beside Zach, opposite Ivy. So Rick is taking a big step away.
Just a big step away.
Yep. So he's moving away from Zach. So he's gotten basically he's moved about 5 to 10 feet away from
my
the
back
nearest
to the
person.
ominous looking hallway.
And
because
I
there's 2.
turn around and see Fokionis and
Yep.
step away from him.
Yep. So you've Rick's taken a step away from you. You've taken a step towards Rick.
I step away.
Just away from.
Now, so Rick, with your step away has led you out into. You no longer have your back to a wall. You've now got a hallways all around you. There's 3 hallways. They're all clearly visible. Some are a bit shadowy, but none of them are in pitch darkness. You can clearly see that there's 3 different directions you can take. There doesn't seem to be anything nearby that other than the cinder block stonework, the lighting, the bricks under your feet. Although they look kind of hand cobblestoney and hand hewn, they are just systematically locked in together almost like a machine had done it. It's amazing the quality of the finish and the way that they are locked and synchronized together. So we've had 2 people move away. Coming to the next one in the rotation, Fokionis, what do you do? Are you going to move?
Okay, so Fokionis sort of stretches, looks around, sees Zachary, and just goes, "Mate, do I know you? Where do I know you? You been to Adelaide recently? Wait, fucking, hey, I remember you. You're in my dream. What the fuck is going on?"
Okay. Big green monster man who I punch. Calm down.
Did I fall asleep again?
Oh, yeah, I mean, sure, you
Maybe.
bumped me, but
Possibly,
this guy's gonna fucking, he burnt my chest hair. I mean, wax it off anyway, but that's not cool, man.
Does he have any chest hair?
Not anymore. This fucker burnt it.
I thought it was a dream. You look like a big, ugly green thing. No offense. And There's a big scary voice telling me to fight people.
You know what?
So what?
This is entirely unimportant. Let's address the actual problem. Rick sort of looks around and just says, "The raccoon? The fuck's that about?"
So there, Ivy, Alia, the attention is now squarely placed on you as the bickering gentlemen, and are completely oblivious to have been distracted by the world collapsing around them and the journey they just went on down through a very strange portal and a demonic fish archway, are talking about a dream they had a couple of weeks back, have now all focused their attention squarely, Ivy, on your pet raccoon Alia. And as you look around, you see that Alia is now dressed. Alia is standing upright. Alia is no longer as chonky as what she was. She's significantly more svelte. She's still a raccoon, but she's now standing upright. She has some weaponry strapped to her. She's dressed in human type clothing. She still does have her emotional support animal Velcro badge across her shoulders, but otherwise she's very different to the Alia that you walked down into the portal with after you jumped off your bike.
Taking a very deep breath because, look, Ivy did not want these people to be anywhere near her ever again. She somewhat grabs the hand of Alia and slightly goes to hide behind the giant orc man. He is obviously the tank. From a very, very large amount of Final Fantasy information.
The best I can do is move you guys. After everything you went through, mind you, you were turtle, so and Ali was trying to kick Zach in the nads, so I can understand that.
being the bouncer and whatnot is not at all surprised by that.
He watches
He takes that in his stride.
The just as a reminder, so Ivy has now appeared as the elf. Are any of you surprised by the way you have appeared? So it's the way that you dreamt. You've selected those races and classes. Are you all taking it in your stride, or is there a little bit of an adjustment period?
Rick is
I'm
in
definitely coming to Alia with that
denial.
question. He's
So,
not just in a river in
yeah,
Egypt.
we're back in the dream again.
Okay,
Obviously.
listen here.
Zachary thinks he's in a dream.
Zachary's still dressed like a musician anyway, isn't he?
He is in a black tuxedo with bow tie, top hat, white gloves. When he said somehow something in the system, instead of applying a more kind of what you'd expect in a fantasy-esque outfit, which is what the rest of you have been equipped with, Zachary has strangely been given a dispensation, but it doesn't seem too strange because there's a walking raccoon holding weapons. So a magician in a tuxedo, not the strangest sight in the dungeon, but it does jag. It does seem weird.
So
Before Alia, how are you coping with the how is Alia the raccoon coping with the sentience that has just been thrust on them? You can now speak. You don't have to, but you can now speak. You're walking upright. You've got all these strange things strapped to you. You had this weird voice talking in your head, and you were pouring at a screen to make some choices. How's Alia coping with all of this?
I'm going in circles, checking myself out. Trying to see like what's going on, you know what I mean? Like just in circles, like trying to figure it out.
Yep. Behind Ivy and Poccionus, just so all this attention is being focused on this raccoon. The raccoon is just like a puppy who's discovered its tail, just spinning in circles, trying to look around behind herself at what has happened and transpired, oblivious to the rest of the concerns that you're facing as humans who watched your civilization collapse. She's got her owner. She's got her Ivy there that she clearly recognizes. She still smells the same, even though she looks a bit different. So Ali is quite comfortable. She's sussing out and curious. And you've got three directions essentially that are open to you in what you have been informed is level 1 of this 18 level event quest to try and hopefully reclaim Earth if that strange voice that destroyed your planet was telling the truth.
Is that strange voice saying anything now?
Let's go ahead and make the
To the
assumption
left, to the left.
that we're not dreaming. Because last time I assumed I was dreaming, I punched that guy. He punched me back a whole lot harder. And
If
I'm
you like,
pretty
I
sure
can
we killed
test
a
for you. You can see if
giant
you're dreaming. Just step over.
toad.
Yeah, and if we fall unconscious, we wake up, right?
Who hurt you?
Wait, why don't you try and do a magic trick? And if it
Why
works,
are
then
you
we
so
know it's a dream.
aggressive?
I can do magic tricks.
So Zach's currently talking about that it's a dream. Wakionis is challenging him to do a magic trick to see if it's actually a dream. Rick is just trying to wrangle the herd of cats that are
So
just milling around him.
Who are you people?
I will
Okay.
say that as all of this is happening, you all actually notice, and it flashes and stays in your eye line until you all clearly notice it before fading. You see in the top left-hand corner of your vision that same title that you saw flash up under the green smiley face, where it says the team name to be TBC to be confirmed, is sitting at the top left, and underneath is each of your names. So Alias, IBS, Fokionis, Zachary, and Rick. You're all listed down from top to bottom. For each of you, your name is at the top of that list. And everyone's name is in green underneath that green team name to be TBC. And then once that prompt has come up and everybody has clearly seen it, and Alia, you discover you're able to read those strange symbols actually make sense to you now, and you're able to read that common, it fades away. And the impression that each of you have received is that you have actually entered this dungeon and been placed into a group together. So you are, for better or worse at the moment, teammates in this experience.
With that realization, Rick's gonna turn around and put his hands up and say, "Okay, I don't like this. Way I see it, we got two options. We pick a direction, and we start walking. We don't gotta be friends. We just gotta find the way out. Okay? What? Couple of hours, we'll finish this whole dungeon thing up, get back home. Right? Just gotta deal with each other for a few hours, get over it.
I just
Option
have a
two.
couple questions.
Option two. Questions at the end of the seminar, please. Option two. I'm gonna walk in that direction.
Which direction is Jay is Rick indicating Jay?
He points in a random direction. Rick doesn't care.
Okay. No,
Rick
not
just
important. Got it.
points. I'm gonna
Mhm.
walk in a random direction. And none of you are gonna follow me, and we're all just gonna walk in random directions and never see each other again. And with any hope, we all wake up. Now,
Bro,
personally,
there's only three
I
ways.
prefer option two. Well, yeah, but you three seem to have grouped up, and I'm not going with the freaking pigeon plucker over here, so.
The pigeon. Oh, my headphones just about fell off. Sorry. Carry on.
Spy, you're the DM now. You got to keep it together. So,
if I would have seen that happen, I may have been able to.
Personally, I prefer option two. At the same time, I'm pretty sure if I leave any one of you alone, you will trip over and hit your head on a rock and die immediately. And then I'd have that on my conscience, assuming all this is real. Where are we?
Okay. We're underneath Newcastle, obviously. It's
You talking like
Newcastle?
down.
Newcastle,
What?
the small town in Australia, or are we talking like Newcastle,
No,
the
the
UK?
Newcastle, a small town in the UK.
Right, I was in Ireland, so
Well, how'd you get across the river? Like,
I don't
did all your
fucking know.
buildings
Apparently, you're the magic
disappear?
man. You tell me. Isn't that your whole thing? You like step into one place, pop out another. It's the whole thing you guys do.
Well, yeah,
Oh,
but not that far. Usually, you need a double. And, anyway,
revealing the tricks of the trade. Not a very good magician. Jesus. Crack under the slightest pressure. Fucking hell. We're getting off topic.
I think we have bigger problems.
Rick's gonna
I
look at
don't-
You calling
Ivy.
me a bigger problem?
Rick looks over at Ivy and Leah and says, "Are you okay?"
To who? Sorry, Alia or Ivy? I missed who's. Mine cut out a bit there. Who's Rick addressing that to?
Just sort of both of them together.
Okay.
With a very, very loud, very exaggerated, shaky sigh. Honestly, no, not really. She looks over at this big man next to her. I think we should definitely start on the right foot, though. So, I am Ivy. This raccoon is Alia. Will you please protect us?
And that's directed to Phocionis, just to be clear, or is that to
yes,
yeah, okay.
very much.
Of course, no problems. I'll do this all the time at work.
Am I the only
Straight
one?
up
Be clear,
Korg
am I
vibes,
protecting you
eh?
from old mate who likes to just hit people, or
Greek Korg.
like
Am I the only
protecting-
one concerned about the fact that the one she asked to protect her is the same guy who last time we met immediately tried to murder the first person who did something bad? Like
But
these two,
he-
and he points at Phocionis and Zachary and says,
murder?
these two
That's a big
straight up
call,
tried to kill each other. Like,
It
Zachary
was a
started
it.
dream. It was just a
I read
dream.
it clearly wasn't. Say something
I
productive or
didn't
say nothing at all.
Then how come you're talking?
I would like to point out before he did any kind of murder, he did also just try to escape without any violence. Plus, he only attacked after being attacked. So, in my mind, that makes him a lot more safe than whatever that is. And she points to the magician's act.
I can't believe I'm gonna say this, but I do kind of agree with the raccoon girl.
Yeah, come on.
Oh, come on. I like flick out my
Zachary
magic
faced that
wand and it
you shot
bouquet
fire
of
at him and you're
flowers.
no one's favorite. Accept this fact. This is your own doing.
Yeah, Han.
You're no one's favorite. Just you might get there, right? Because we gotta apparently go through a whole fucking dungeon together. But hey, for now, you did try to kill a dude. It was like your first thing.
Oh,
Ivy
in
then
that
also
case,
looks towards you, Rick.
I would like to formally apologize and hand out like flowers to everyone. It's all
Might
I
want to
got.
direct that at Fox's
That is
chest
not
hair.
something I expected.
Is anyone willing to let Zachary get close enough to them to hand out these very clearly plastic flowers, non-magical
Rick
in
will
any
take
way,
one.
that he's just conjured up as a remnant of something that somehow survived in his on his coat? So Rick now has a plastic flower. Zach, are you
Oh,
Oh,
going
you
to
know
try
I'm
and move
gonna eat
towards the
those,
others?
right?
All right, so that's been handed to Alia, who promptly tries to start chewing on them
Okay.
and begins then spitting plastic petals all over the floor around her in disgust. Ivy, do you accept Zachary's, what I think is a peace offering, but the flowers that he offers with his apology?
No, thank you. I saw you shoot fire. Don't want to touch whatever that is. And she'll slide a bit further behind Fock.
So at that point, if that's going to happen, I need to move Phocionis up. So Phocionis, do you take the peace offering flowers from Zach the Magician?
No, that's okay. I think Phocionis is like, oh, look, bro, look, we can get past this, but you just keep the flowers in your sleeve.
So, Zachary, you've successfully
Okay.
handed out 2 sets of flowers. Rick and
Yay.
Alia.
Rick feels genuinely for a brief moment embarrassed that he took a flower.
Yeah, very well. Well, we should at least stick together, I suppose.
Okay, I'm assuming you're Zachary, yeah?
Well,
What do you got going on? You can
is
do that whole
there
fire thing, right?
A
That's your whole thing. You
name
can.
above our heads.
It has faded at the moment, but it was up there clearly
Yeah, we did
for
say it before,
a
right?
good 20 seconds when you entered, and it came up with the party names
Yep.
to indicate, and you all got when you got that that sense very clearly that you had all been formed together into a party who is not yet named in the system.
You know what? Let's start over. I'm Rick. I'm a paramedic. I was born in Melbourne, Australia. Currently living in Ireland with my wife and 2 daughters. In a dungeon now, I guess. Don't know what I got going on. Gonna be entirely honest, when we got to that whole screen with races and stuff, I just hit next. So, fucking here we are, I guess. You're Zachary. You can shoot fire? Is that you did that last time, right? You
yeah.
you threw out your hand or something and fire came out and you did something at the end. What was that you did right before I passed out, you did something. That was you, right?
Yeah,
After this guy hit me.
think
I
so.
hit
Like,
this guy first. That's on me. I instigated.
I just feel like I got these options for these abilities. I can like also make illusions appear out of thin air, and I like make an image of a I don't know big pot of flowers
Yeah.
appear next
Okay.
to me.
Okay.
Is all your
Rick-
magic to do with flowers?
Before you guys continue, I do
I like
apologize.
flowers. What,
I
Are
just
you a
looked at
magic
my
what do you got
box?
against flowers?
I just looked at my notes and I actually skimmed over a couple of your. I do apologize with everything else juggling. When everyone was announced, you also. I just didn't read everybody's class and race. So Fokionis is a half-orc barbarian. Rick was a human monk. So even if he's not aware of it, the rest of you heard that announcement, and Rick, you heard it with everybody else. And the others I did go through. So Raccoon Ranger, elf or half elf. I didn't had to flick over. Ivy was. I was an elf cleric. So you do know each other's race, and Zachary's a human sorcerer.
Rick,
Not that that means anything. I know the conversation still works, but sorry, that was nothing deliberate. I just realized I hadn't announced that at the start.
Thank you. Thank you for letting us know that's been announced. Zachary, when you summon the illusion, Rick nods and puts his chin in his hand and sort of rubs his beard a bit and says, "Okay, cool." It's very clear to you, Zachary, that Rick doesn't understand what you're saying, but just wants to move on because Rick also doesn't want an explanation of what you're saying. Yeah, righto. Okay. What about you, Fuck? You hit me last time. You're quite large, actually. What do you got going on? Can you do stuff like him? Can you do the whole flowers thing? I don't see how
I don't
that's
know. Let me try.
helpful in this situation.
Let me try.
Let me try. A la peanut butter jelly sandwich.
Nothing happens.
Anything? Nah, I guess I'm just really fucking strong, bro.
Okay. You got weapons there, right? Is that a
Oh
trident?
yeah, baby. Look at these
Is
bad
there a
boys.
trident on your back?
It's a spear of sorts, but it has 3 tips, you know.
So it's a
Triple the
trident.
fun.
Okay. Rightio. I guess you're in the front. You look big. Zachary looks a little squishy. Hey, hi. You'd be Ivy. What? It said you were a cleric. Are you do you belong to a church or something? Are you a preacher of some variety? I don't know what that means. And your other friend said they were a ranger. Is that like a park ranger? Do they have a hat? I'm new to this,
She's
guys.
got a
You guys
bow. I guess
give me
she
time
uses
here. I got no idea what's going on.
You
I'm gonna
don't
be
see
honest.
there's a massive longbow on my back?
I did see the bow. You shot it last time, not at
Just
me, thankfully, because fuck
distracted
that.
by the whole raccoon thing.
Yeah, I'm gonna be entirely honest. The fact that you're a raccoon is kind of my first priority right now.
Jealous.
Nope, I'm confused.
Are you one of them furries, bro?
Oh, I'm sorry. A what?
Furry?
What's a furry?
I don't know. We see them
is a
on
raccoon a
cosplay
furry?
nights at the night. Get dressed, the
Don't wreck his
Buccaneers, and
innocence.
tail and shit.
Cosplay? Rick just looks so bewildered. He doesn't know what's going on, guys.
Oh, bro, you just no.
I was
Could you be any beige?
walking next to some people on the way in. Did any of you guys see anyone on the way in? Like my wife, Angelica, she's wearing a outfit. It's lots of sparkles and wings
No,
even.
I didn't.
You know,
I've only seen you
you'd
guys.
know
I'm,
if you see her.
No, bro.
I'm sorry.
No?
You said. Sorry. Did you say Angelica? Is that what you said?
Yes.
Okay. Rick is going to reach into. I'm assuming I'm wearing my backpack. Yeah.
Yep. So in terms of your gear, just a quick recap from session 0.
Everything that we.
You have your adventure starting equipment, and you find that you've got a different version of essentially a bag of holding. You each have one. The difference from the D&D version of the bag of holding is that has an unlimited capacity. So when you look at it, whenever the point is that you inspect it, you'll find that it has an unlimited capacity to put things into. But as we discussed As a quick recap, Station 0, the largest thing you can put in there is essentially something the dimensions of an average 6 foot tall human, including shoulders. So that's the largest size that can come in and 6 foot tall, go in and out of it. Anything larger than that would have to be broken up into pieces of that size or smaller. But you have your normal adventure starting gear, you have the equipment you chose in terms of the cosmetic side of things, and you've dressed your characters in, and you've got the starting equipment that you selected, which I think for most of you was your basic weapons and your adventurers, some version of the adventurers kit. Because I don't think anyone chose gold, because that was a very strong suggestion.
Rick will reach into his backpack and pull out a pencil and just a blank book that he has, and he'll write everyone's names in it. Like everyone gets a page, like he writes everyone's name at the top of a page. He goes through and he writes what race they said, and with a question mark next to that race, like under their name, then like a few, like leaves a little bit of space, and their class with a question mark next to each of their classes. And then on the page for Zachary, he will just very quickly jot down Angela, wife, missing, question mark. And then he'll slide the book into like a little pouch on his leg with the pencil.
Yep. Well, for that then your pouch can be normal. Your backpack will consider you be your bag of holding, so that'll be your
it's just
repository.
a pocket that he has.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, so look, standing here talking isn't really getting anything done.
Yeah, and that voice did mention a time limit. We should.
It did.
start
I completely
this
missed that.
place.
Jesus. Okay.
So I cast light on my magic wand, and
Holy
Dun,
shit,
ta-da.
dude! What the?
Well, it was already quite a well lit space. It's a bit shadowy, but it is now, obviously can't do it on the map, but it is now brightly lit in the radius. So what's the radius of your light spell around your wand?
it
It's like
is
30,
20 feet.
20 feet. So it's filling the entire corridor you're in is very brightly lit now, with the glow coming off the end of Zachary's wand in that 20-foot radius, because the corridor itself is about 15 foot wide by 25 foot long. Rick has exited out of the corridor itself. He's just at the edge of that very bright light, but it is bright. Everything is very clearly brightly lit.
Okay.
Alright, let's have a look around, and I start sort of meandering down the left corridor.
So yeah, so
slowly.
Hey,
so
I'm
your
other
marching
people
order we got.
behind
Yep. So
I'll-
that gives
I'll
you. Let me give you
point
25 feet.
I'll point to Fokionis and say, he's squishy. Do you want to make sure you stay? We should probably stay with him, right?
That's a good idea.
Yeah. Do you
Lady,
guys
what do you
just
think?
want to follow
we
up
all go
behind
together?
us?
Yep.
So that's Lily and Alia. Rick, you're all. So the decision made, if you're all heading together, can I get your marching order as you're heading up that corridor, please? Please stop moving yourselves around, or I'm going to get lost.
Rick is where I have put
Okay.
Rick.
Yep. Okay.
Oh wait, are we not supposed to move ourselves?
Hang on.
Not the table question.
I don't want you going too far off the screen, please. Yeah.
Anarchy! Everyone move in a different direction.
I gave you the ability to move your tokens.
Scatter!
But yes, let me keep track of you. So I need your marching order.
Can't stop us all.
So we've got Fokionis was going up the front.
children.
At that
I-
moment,
do you want
me to
Papa
go up the
realised
front?
that
Rock
people's
falls coming over
characters
the
still had
ceiling.
the ability to move. What's the idea?
All right. So marching order, we've got Fokionis, Zach behind him, Rick beside, because this is the width of the hallway. So
Rick will stay beside Fok.
So Rick's going to go beside Fokionis. Zach's in the middle, essentially like a 5 dice. Okay, Ali is behind Zach, keeping a close eye on him after, he was shooting fireballs around and Ali was trying to kick him in the crotch in the dream. And Ivy is a step further back at the rear. All right. So you guys are just heading up the hallway essentially to see where it leads you?
Yippee
Yep.
dippy do. Let's.
Yep.
Do,
Okay,
do, do,
so
do, do.
as you head up into that hallway, you get to a point where it ends. So I'm just waiting for the stream screen to get caught up. It's a little bit of a lag because I've got to run it as a player and as a GM. So as you guys get to what you find to be the termination point of that hallway, you find yourselves in it's just a strange looking room. It's still the same cinder block hallway. There's nothing particularly menacing about it, but it has these concrete crypts. They look like they've been taken straight out of a fancy graveyard, but there's no tombstones or markings or anything of that kind. And they are very strongly built concrete tombs, and each of them, actually almost all of them, you see have varying degrees of the lids haven't quite been sealed properly. And with you guys, with the very brightly lit wand, just strolling your way into that room, I want you all please to go ahead and roll initiative, as out of those crypts and the open lids, a series of skeletons in various states of decay, wrapped in all sorts of destroyed or half destroyed armor and carrying a varying array of weaponry, just start hurrying their way out of their slumber and noticing each of you and heading your way. So please roll initiative while I invite the skeletons to the party. I'm very excited about the torchlight that you've
God damn it.
Where is
Sorry,
it?
guys.
Does my lucky trait account for skill rolls?
I'm very excited about the
Yep, sure.
Yeah, have a look at it, because your halfling one, I believe, is if you roll a 1.
Yeah,
you
I
can
rolled a
re-roll that
1 on a d20, so that's
So
why I'm
just have a look and
asking.
see if it
yeah,
if it
if it's-
applies to.
If it's halfling luck,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you can
Initiative
re-roll a 1.
Initiatives is
Yeah, because it says
dexterity
when
check,
you roll a
skill
1 on a
check, isn't it?
d20 for an attack roll, ability check, or a saving throw. That's why I asked, is ability check kind
Yeah,
of
it's an ability
skills?
check. You're fine.
Okay, so I get to roll again. That's better.
So I need to, if you've all done your rolls, I'll tell you the skeletons rolled 6. They've all got the same initiative. I'm not rolling each of them separately. So anyone over 25? Nope. 20 to 25?
Maybe I don't know what I'm rolling. I just got back
roll
on
initiative.
22.
Roll initiative. We got a
initiative.
22. Rick, 22. Skelly's a 6. Now I
Oh,
missed
yeah, that's a
that.
bloody-
Sorry, Fokion. Okay, I'll keep going to the others. So
No,
Alia,
I've
what
got
did
to
you roll with
refresh
your
every
luck?
page. Yeah.
I didn't catch that. Sorry.
Alia, what did you re-roll? I'm just going along the bottom of the overlay.
Oh, me, 16.
Okay, Alia 16. Ivy?
It was an 18.
Yeah. Holy crap, you guys got some high initiative. And Zach?
9.
Okay, so first cab off the rank will be Rick. Then Ivy. Then
I got 16.
Hey,
Alia.
twins.
Okay. Who has the highest dexterity out of the two of you? I'm gonna
I don't
guess.
know.
I'm gonna guess Alia,
I got
but
19.
Mine's 16. Is that including modifiers or
just the base dex.
14?
16.
Okay, so there'll be Alia, then Fokionis, who's also 16, then Zach, then the skeletons. And so what you've had so far, 5 skeletons emerge from their crypts as you each entered their space. So I'm just going to put them into the spaces now that they have emerged into. That one came out there, that one came out there, and that one came there. So they've crawled out as you've just not paying attention, having a chat, continuing your conversations. You're wandering up the hallway to have a look through this dungeon, and not really paying too much attention to your surroundings. You now find yourselves largely surrounded by a group of these 5 skeletons that have emerged, lumbering, making all kinds of clicking and horrific noises in your direction. So first off, Rick, what do you do?
Rick
You're up
is
first.
going to
And
panic.
you've got a skeleton right beside you.
Yeah, Rick is going to, as they crawl out, what the actual fuck? Okay, this is, he's gonna look at Fokionis, and he's gonna like tap Fokionis on the shoulder, and get his attention to say, those two. And Rick is going to pull the whip at his side, look back at Zachary, and he's gonna swing the whip back at the one. Sorry, no, Rick is going to take a single step down 5 feet to there, and then attack the one beside Zachary with his whip.
So you're moving out of range of the one who is right beside you. Just
Nope,
letting
I
you
am
know.
not out of range of the one right beside me.
Oh no, because you're still sorry. Yep, you're
Yep.
still at that diagonal square. Apologies. Yep, I see what
No,
you're doing.
that's okay. And I will pull out my whip and I will I will like crack my whip at the one
Oh,
beside.
I thought you were going to say no then.
Okay.
Sorry, let me just quickly figure out where my whip is. I don't know why it's not.
While he's looking that up, just letting you know, you'll be next up, Ivy.
Turn on that go.
There it is. Oh, it was in my bag for some reason. Why the hell was it in my bag? Okay. Does a 15 hit?
15 does hit.
Does hit.
Yeah, whip
When
the
I
ashes
hit
out
with
and hit
this,
that
I will
skeleton.
use my pushing attack. When you hit with a weapon attack, you can spend a superiority die, add the total to the damage, and if it's large or smaller, it must make a strength save. On a failure, I can push it up to 15 feet away. So the Skelly boy needs to make a strength save for me.
Yep.
And then while that's happening, I am going to roll damage for a whip.
Okay, the skeleton rolls 13
6,
for the
7,
strength save.
8. That is a failure. Barely,
Right.
but it's a failure. So
How far did you say? Sorry, 15 feet.
So it will take 8 points of damage first from the whip. And as I wrap my whip around its neck, I sort of pull it in so it's on Zachary, and then I grab Zachary and use his body to push it in the opposite direction. So it stumbles away from him 15 feet.
Yep. So with that that Indiana Jones shit that you just pulled out, channeling every movie that maybe you haven't even seen if you didn't know what World of Warcraft was earlier. The using Zach as your human battering ram, that skeleton now gets pushed across, stumbling beside the crypt that it crawled out of, and lands over next to the wall. That's as far as it can go. So that's 10 feet, but that's the distance that it can get away from.
As I'm still sort of holding Zachary, I just I don't whisper in his ear, but I just say beside his head, you might want to back up out of the room, buddy. And I will spin around with my empty hand, and I'm going to spend a key point to make 2 unarmed strikes against the zombie next to me now. The one directly next to me.
Yep.
So I'm just going to swing a big old fist at that boy twice.
Yep.
Because monks, baby!
All right. Roll you to hit.
13. Sorry, no, 12. 12.
12 does not hit. So your strikes hit empty air underneath the rib cage. They just narrowly miss the target.
12 again. I'm just swinging wildly at a skeleton.
Yep. Who's just looking at you, clicking its jaw, very confused.
Every time I bring
as much
my
as it
fist
can
back,
be.
I go to punch, and every time I go to punch, it will like move towards me, or like its jaw will open, and I'll sort of hesitate for a second, and I just when do you punch a
It's giving
skeleton?
some very disconcerting
bone.
noises as it is shambling closer and closer.
There's no weak spots on a skeleton,
right.
guys. That's bad.
Ivy, you're up.
So very shakily, Ivy's gonna raise her 2 hands. Deep breath. You cast a spell before. I'm sure you can do it again. Just concentrate. And you will see Fock, Zach, and Rick slightly glow as she casts Bless on them. Whenever either or any of these people make a attack roll or a saving throw before my spell ends, the target can roll a d4 and add the number rolled to the attack roll or saving throw.
Yep. And how long is it? That's a 10-minute?
It's concentration up to 1 minute.
Okay, so concentration, when we'll see if you take any damage before we have to worry about concentration checks. The time limit, I think you will easily this battle will be well and truly over in 10 minutes or less. Okay, so please make sure you guys pay attention to using that D4. That will be your responsibility.
So just explain again how we do that. Sorry.
So when you are making an attack roll or a saving throw, you can also roll an extra d4 and just add it on to whatever you've rolled.
Cool.
And that applied to Fokionis, Rick.
Zach and Rick, yeah.
Yep, so not Alia.
No, I have complete faith in her.
Okay. Clearly you don't remember the dream with the arrows flying over Lawrence the Toad's head. But she was very confused and still a raccoon dreaming at that point. All right, that's your action. I don't think Bless isn't a bonus action spell, is it?
It's an action.
Yeah, it's an action. So do you want to do anything with your bonus action?
No, I don't think anyone's hurt, so no.
And you're happy with your positioning? No, nobody's taken any damage yet.
No, I'm quite happy. I'm in the hallway. I'm not going in there.
All right, Alia, you're up. With now there's a skeleton, two skeletons within striking distance of Rick and one within striking distance of Fokionis, and you have visibility of all of the skeletons thanks to the bright shining light of Zachary's wand is filling up almost the entirety of this space. You have clear sight on everything that's in there. There's only a couple of corners that are dark and there's no skeletons there that you're aware of.
I am going to pull out my longbow for the badly injured.
Oh, yeah, you're
skeleton.
striking at the skeleton that got shoved up against the wall by Indiana Rick. Yep.
Yep. So I'm just going to do a ranged weapon attack on him.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wait, wrong button.
You'll need to tell me your rolls because I don't have enough screens to see.
So longbow to hit is a 27.
27 most definitely hits.
Yeah, that was
Okay.
a 22.
And that skeleton is already looking pretty sore, so let's see what the
Why did my damage
was that a
go
natural,
to
was that a natural
2d8?
20?
Because you rolled
Yeah.
a 20, that's a critical
Oh.
hit.
Okay, yeah, that's
Oh.
yes. So
Rip.
you have critted on that. What's your
So
what's
that'll
your
be
damage?
17
Doubled.
damage.
And so that's what it came up with, and we'll double that. So yeah, you have completely fucked up that skeleton. Your arrow hits it, and Ivy's faith in you is completely justified because the arrow hits and starts bouncing around inside that skeleton's torso like a JFK reenactment, and it just falls apart and crumples in a heap. It is done.
Just going to gloss over that JFK reference there.
You can't say it's too soon. Come on.
Too soon.
Jesus. All right. And so that's your action. Do you have anything you'd like to do with your bonus action before we move on with Fokionis? You'll be next up.
Eat a snack.
Yep. You can pull out
True to
some
form.
random rubbish that managed to survive the fall with you and some handful of crumbs and start chomping away while you interestedly look around at everybody else. You're up, Fok.
Rightio. So Fock obviously notices that Rick taps him on the shoulder to draw his attention to what is going on in the room. And he immediately is going to spring to action. He's going to move a little bit. So I'm right in the measurements here that the furthest or the closest skeleton is like 5 feet and the next one is like 10 feet. So if I take one step to the left, that will bring both of them within 5 feet range.
Correct.
For me to attack, then I can
Yeah.
still attack as part of that
Yeah,
movement.
exactly what Rick did before. Yes, you can do that.
Cool. Well, I haven't figured out how to move yet, so thank you. Okay, so Fokionis is noticing and he's gonna grab his axe. So I'm gonna pick it up from where Rick taps him on the shoulder. What? Oh my God! Look, I've seen this before, mate. I fucking in the morning when I go home from work. You know what these are? Fucking vegans. No good, mate. They just need some protein, mate. Like, I don't know what they're doing, but fuck this. They're out of here.
Rick, who is canonically a vegan, despite the fight, just looks over his shoulder at Fock.
Oh, the Fock looks like, fuck it, really, bro? But you look at these and look at you. Like, I think you're hitting the tofu, mate.
bacon's good, but sustaining our plate. Deal with the skeletons.
Okay, we'll pick this up later. I mean, it wouldn't kill you to have some potato.
Who
Just
gives a
just
shit about
powders, you know.
sustaining the planet right now?
Both skeletons have pulled out rusty swords as this is happening.
Oh, really?
I'm surprised they're not
Ah,
scratching
a
their
couple
heads.
close enough
Fockianus is not
to
having that shit. So Fockianus is going to take his great axe and swing almightily to try and slice through two of them at once because fuck it, why not?
All right.
So let's roll.
Yep. And that's one of your.
Hit, or can I roll the extra d4 now?
Now, before you start, I need to know because I think I took an action off you for rage. You can rage as a bonus action. Are you raging before you take these swings, or are you just doing them as straight swings?
No,
I'm
just
guessing you've
straight
got a
swings. I
cleave
haven't
ability.
raged yet. There's nothing happened to piss Fockianus off as such.
And is this an ability you have that lets you attack 2 targets at once with your axe? Is that right?
I'm just swinging within 5 feet radius and assuming that I can swing. There's nothing written specifically that I'm aware of that says I can or cannot.
So
No, it can only make a melee
Yeah.
attack against a single target.
you can only attack one of them
Fair
unless you
enough.
have an ability that lets you cleave or attack multiple targets. So I need to know which one.
Well,
Now that you know that, do you want to stay where you were, where you only had one target within range?
yes,
Or are you
thank
happy
you,
to-
benevolent DM. Good information to know before I pony up and move left. Good on you.
You're welcome. So yep, you're
Thanks.
taking it. So you attack. What'd you roll? For
Yeah,
your-
so I rolled 12, but I haven't rolled the extra d4 yet.
okay. So you're going to roll that d4.
Oh yeah,
That's a good idea because 12
that's
misses.
4. So that is now
16.
16.
16 hits.
Nice.
So
Let's go
you
ahead and
take
cause
that
some.
swing with your axe, colliding with the skeletal vegan in front of you. What's your damage?
Fucking seriously?
How
10.
much? 10. That skeleton is looking really fucking sore. One of its arms has come off. The right arm that's not holding the sword is just completely disengaged from the body, hanging limply down. The bottom jaw just fell off from the impact of the axe swing as it cleared the arm off the body. He is looking really sore. And would you like to do anything with your bonus action, or are you done?
Oh, do I have a bonus action? I was not sure.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, an
unless
action
you
and a
want to
bonus
rage, I
action.
don't think you have one.
Yeah,
Because
that's
it's
what I
not
thought
rage,
because I
it's
wasn't in
bonus action.
rage.
Well, you could move. Sorry, would you like to do any bonus action? Would you like to take any movement, or are you good to go? Because
Look,
next we're up to Zachary.
No, I'm pretty happy with where I am, positioning wise. Thank you.
Yep. Okay. And Zach, you're up.
Okay, I just like to thank Rick for pushing that other guy out of the way and
I'm
firebolt.
not your friend. Kill the skeletons.
I
Vegans, bro.
love you
Vegans.
too, bro. And I hit firebolt the skeleton that Fockianus just hit.
Yep. And
Fockianus? Sorry.
yeah, so that skeleton's near death, even though it's undead. And so, what's your to hit?
It is 15 plus 17 to hit,
17 definitely hits.
and that's 10 damage.
That skeleton just disintegrates into dust. It hits with such force that even the rusty sword and like cobbled together armor is completely demolished with the impact. That skeleton is fucking gone. So 2 are down. Now, with everything that's been going on, especially all the conversation that's happened in between the actually dealing with the skeletons, another skeleton just at the edge of Zach's light has emerged from its tomb in the top right-hand corner with all of the ruckus. It's awoken it from its slumber, and it's moving forward. As all of this has been going on, it has unnoticed climbed out of its sarcophagus and joined the fray. So it is now up next to Fockianus. And with that, the skeletons are going to take their turn. So the skeleton that had on the left that had just emerged from his tomb is heading across the 5 feet to get next to Fockianus, and it's going to take a swing at him with its short sword. So let's see. It's not real great, but anyway. Sorry, I just need to see my rolls. So, does an 18 hit?
Yes.
All right. So you take. Don't worry, it wasn't a nat 20. It was just a normal roll. You take 7 points of damage as the skeleton shuffles over amidst all of the talking and the attention on its companion, and stabs that sword right into the meat of your thigh. So 7 damage.
Taken.
And the next skeleton, also beside Phocyonis, seeing and enraged by all the conversation, and he was one of the most chattery, is also right next to you and is going to take a swing. So
Wait, where did he move?
he was the one who was up in the top corner out of the light range and got woken. Didn't wake up with all the others, but all the talking and fighting brought him out of his slumber. All right, now he's also I'm rolling them
Oh, okay, so
individually.
I am counting correctly because I was getting real confused why we had an extra skeleton on the screen.
Yeah, he got woken up and joined the fray. Joined it
Okay.
late, so a 12 is a 12 hit.
Because the stream isn't catching up.
Ah,
We're
gotcha. Gotcha. I do apologize for whatever's going on with that.
Hey,
So
very
did
true.
a 12 hit?
No.
All right, so trying to stab the other leg, it completely misses. Yes, Jay.
Could you drag me back to the battle map? Lily and I both just dropped our internet, and I can't see anything anymore.
Drag you back to the battle map. You should be able to log back in and it'll bring you there.
You got to refresh, and it takes like
just-
a hot minute before it shows up
Yeah.
again.
I just logged back in and
Yeah,
I'll move your
just says waiting.
icons. I hit the space bar.
Oh, is that what you
Otherwise, I might have to get you to watch it through the stream because I don't have a manual entry. Sorry.
Oh,
So
you best
that
come back in.
you're on my screen, if that helps. I've just hit the
Yeah,
refresh.
when I did it before, it took like a minute or so before the screen showed up again.
So that the second one missed.
Second
Hopefully
one
that's brought you in. There's not. I
Oh,
don't
that
have anything
pissed
else I
him
can
off.
do. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
That probably annoyed him. greatly.
Now there's 2 zombies next to Rick. The first one, so the topmost one, is going to take a swipe at Rick as well. So he also rolls a 12. Does a 12 hit you, Rick?
Oh god, no.
So just as Rick swung and missed the zombie also swings and misses Rick, narrowly missing its companion who's beside it. And that zombie also takes a swing at Rick with its short sword. And that zombie rolls a nat 20 for a 24. So that zombie is about, I don't have to ask if that hits because I know it does.
No, that misses. That misses. No,
20.
no, that misses. I think that misses.
Oh wow, he
Misses.
rolled like absolute shit.
Good.
God damn it. Okay, you take 10 damage from that critical hit. That zombie rolled like bust.
That's 2/3 of my health.
But it could have been so much
Only
more
you ate
damage.
meat.
I like not being squishy. This is great.
So Zach is down 12, and now we are back to Rick's turn. With 4 zombies still up, so 2 beside you, 2's beside Phocyonis, 2 have been vanquished.
Trying to
Hey,
remember
what?
the skeletons were. I will. Is there still a
Zach's
zombie?
not down 12.
Oh, sorry, not
There's a
Zach. Sorry,
zombie
Rick's down 12. Apologies.
directly to my right.
Yep.
Yep, I will just attack that one. I will just drop my whip, pull my quarterstaff off my back now that it's close, and with 2 hands, just without any sort of form, just bring my quarterstaff down on its head.
Yep.
Does a 14 hit?
14 does hit.
14
Your
does
quarterstaff slams down on the peak of its skull. There's no helmet there protecting it, and it hits with such force. Actually, no, let me hear your damage because I've got to see whether this happens or not.
5.
5. So with the strike on the top of its skull and the damage imparted, that skeleton's head actually spins all the way around the other way, and it will now be making its attacks with disadvantage because its head is facing the opposite way to its body.
I'm going to use another key point to flurry of blows and attack it again.
Mhm.
That one's a 15.
15 also hits.
That's a d4. The next one will be 6 points of damage.
Yep, it is now looking very, very, very buggered. It is near death. The head's still holding on. It doesn't have any arms now. They've just fallen off. The weight of the sword was too much to carry. It is now going to be taking attacks with disadvantage, attempting to kick its targets.
Thank God I have one more attack. Flurry of blows, everyone. This is why you play a monk. They're broken. Almost as broken as druids. 5 more damage.
And with that,
Fuck,
that
one
skeleton head
won't
comes
die.
off, and it just falls over in a heap. Isn't
Rick-
destroyed, it is just collapsed.
As
That
Rick
skeleton's
brings
gone.
his fist back and punches its skeleton, like the skull off its head, the skull flies across the room and the bones collapse and all that. Rick, for a moment, looks very proud of himself, then looks at all the other dead skeletons and just sort of, cool. And I will just take a leap up next to Phocyonis in range of the other two.
Yep, so you've just moved up. Yep.
And that's my turn.
Okay, and next up is Ivy, and Alia, you're on deck. 3 skeletons still remaining. None of them have taken any damage.
I thought it
Yeah,
was Zach's
Alia.
turn.
Nope.
Okay.
Alia. Then it's Ivy and then Alia. So
Okay.
Ivy's now. Alia, you're up next. So there's skeletons surrounding Rick and Phocyonis up the front. And you've got clear visibility on all of them.
So we made pretty things glow. I bet
Mhm.
we can make even more things glow. With her right hand, she's going to do a swish and a flick. Very important, the swish and flick.
Mm-hmm.
To whatever skeleton looks the healthiest.
They're all full health. None of them have taken any damage. They all look keen and ready for the fight.
Let's go for the one
I
on the
can't
right
see
next
it.
to
I
Rick.
can't remember where the skeletons are, and your stream's
in
not loading
trouble.
for me.
Okay, so why don't you just go with the one directly ahead of you in a straight line in front of Rick? Straight ahead. Straight line shot.
She
about
is going to cast Guiding Bolt.
15 feet. Yep.
17 to hit.
17 hits.
And let me get some d6 out here. That'll be 16 damage. It's radiant as well in case it has any thing that I don't know, weaknesses to radiant.
That bolt of radiant light just strikes it and disintegrates into motes of glowing dust that float away. That skeleton is gone.
Oh. I won't read out the extra stuff that comes with
Yeah, there's
Bolt,
no
though.
advantage on it. It's just it's gone. It's dead.
Holy shit.
I'm
Are
dangerous.
you good? That's
Glad she didn't use that on
I
us.
will be using my bonus action.
Yep.
To cast a first level healing word so I can heal Rick up a bit there.
No, as Rick / Jay has told me, you can't do a bonus spell when you do a spell as an action.
Really?
Yeah. So I'm sorry.
Correct.
As was explained to me at great length, both sober and drunk.
So
Well,
I
I'm
will,
sorry, you can't
Well
do that.
done, students.
as I have, I swear, I love this particular rule comes up because I swear I explain it every second or third session to someone, and it's become my favorite thing. When casting spells in Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition, if you cast a spell that takes up your action that is of level 1 or higher, okay, you can cast that spell, and you cannot cast any spells with your bonus action. 1 spell per round. However, if you cast a spell as a bonus action, you can cast a cantrip with your action. Or the other way around, you can cast a cantrip as an action, and then a spell as a bonus action. You can't cast 2 leveled spells in the same turn. That would become too powerful, because the primary reason for that is the fact that the sorcerer can quicken spell and just start dropping like double
Machine gunning spell.
8th level fireballs. So yeah.
Sorry, can't
The more
heal
you know.
him up this round. You
Fine.
want to stay where you are, Ivy?
Yeah, she's fine.
Okay, Alia, you're up, and Fokionis, you're next if there's anything left
Oh,
after the last arrow. So Alia, you're up. There's 2 skeletons left, one next to Fokionis, one next to Rick.
I'm going to pull my longbow on the one next to Fock.
But Rick's injured.
So is Fokionis.
You like him more.
Rick will be
Fokionis
right.
has got a rusty short sword sticking out of his leg.
So I'm going to roll. And that is a 17 to hit.
17 hits.
Am I the only one who's hurt again?
no,
You
I
and
am
Oh,
also
God damn
Oh,
it.
thank
both hurt.
God.
cathartic, but accepted.
I was gonna say, aren't you raging? Don't you take half damage?
He
I
hasn't
didn't
raged
rage
yet.
at
Oh, I
start.
have a quick question. How many times can I use
was
my
it first
lucky trait?
It's in the description. I think it's once or twice a day at your level. It's in there's a little box next to it. How many times you can re-roll a 1, and I know you've done it once.
Wait, do you mean? Sorry, is this your halfling?
No,
This
one?
is the halfling
Yeah, this
one.
is my halfling
whenever you roll a
lucky.
1,
Yeah,
every
there's-
time.
So it's
There's
literally
no
whenever
limit.
I
Tries it
roll.
every time
Okay,
for the
cool.
halfling one.
Because I
Okay,
just
thank you.
rolled once, so I'm rolling again. Thank you.
Damn halflings.
Good to know.
So that'll be a 6 damage.
Hang on, what was your roll to hit? Oh, 16. Sorry, 6 damage. 6 damage? Yep.
Oh, you don't re-roll ones for damage.
Not an
Is
attack
that
roll.
attack? Isn't that
Attack
damage?
rolls and damage rolls are different.
Okay,
but she
never
re-rolled
mind.
the-
So my damage is 4. We'll just go back to the other one.
Okay.
Never
All right.
mind.
So that skeleton's it's a bit sore, but shakes it off. The arrow is still sticking out of its rib cage, but
Isn't that the one
it's-
I bloody cracked before, or no?
No, that one's dead.
Oh, okay, cool.
That one
Right.
got zacked.
Good.
And are you staying where you are?
Is that a thing
Alia?
now?
Yeah.
It got zacked.
It got zacked. All right. Fokionis, you're up with a little bit sore, not too badly injured skeleton.
Right. So, two things. One,
Mhm.
when that bolt of whatever it was went flying past me to sort of cook the skeleton in front of me, like Fokionis turns around and went,
Oops.
"Bro, I've got no fucking hair on my chest left. What are you doing?" And then realized that it wasn't him. Went, "Oh,
No.
well, okay, sorry." And then 2, Fokionis is pissed, so he is of course going to enrage.
All right.
He's definitely raging, so he's going to tick the box for rage, and then he's going to end this skeleton in front of him.
All right. Go and roll damage.
Do I have to roll to hit first?
Oh, sorry, roll the hit, then roll
I
hit.
mean, I'll roll damage if you want.
No, just roll the hit.
Right, okay.
It's getting late for me too, and we're nearly done. I know
So
we're
it's
close to our end
13
point.
plus.
Yeah,
4?
13 hits, 17 hits. Yep, roll for damage.
Okay, roll
Definitely
damage.
slam
Can I get
with
a
your
plus
axe.
2 on the damage because I'm in rage? Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Good, because I fucking need it. So 7 plus 2 is 9.
9 is exactly the hit points that skeleton has left. So you thud into it, and its head goes careening into the wall, skittering away, and the corpse just falls to the ground.
The Fokionis
Still
turns to the
intact,
rest
but
of the
it's
group
dead.
and signals a boundary because that's a fucking floor, mate.
And we are now on to Zach with 1 skeleton left up, right next to Rick.
That better be a 1 shot.
I cast.
Oh, hang on. Oh, sorry. I'll move over to sort of. I don't know. I can't sort of get in front of Rick, but I can.
We can put you there where you're in range of
Yeah,
the
cool.
skeleton.
Yep.
I cast magic missile on the last skeleton. The 3 growing orbs of force appear in my hand. I roll 3, 4, 5, 6, 9 damage with those.
Mhm.
And also move up to the skeleton.
That
around
skeleton
Rick.
is near death. It is almost done from those missiles thudding into it. In the interest of brevity, with your entire party and that skeleton essentially being a sneeze away from death, I am going to call it dead. And that is at the end of that dungeon. I'm going to put them back up. There are 3 skeletons that survived, but the corpses are laying on the ground. There doesn't appear to be anything else in the room, nothing living or moving or undead and moving. You've walked to the end of a hallway casually and just walked into this massive skeletons coming out of the crypt. You've successfully defeated them. There are some bodies laying around there. Before we call it for the night, would anyone like to do anything with those before we wrap it
Can
up?
I do an investigation check because of my sense of smell?
Yes, so
raccoon.
I'll call that essentially as you go around and can you do a roll for me?
Investigation roll, sure can.
If you want to do it as an investigation. Essentially what I'm going to get you to do is you're looking to see if there's anything on
17.
those corpses. 17. Okay, so as you go around those 3 corpses with your looting tendencies, your hoarding tendencies, you find 15 pounds of just miscellaneous scrap metal. It's got no real value. It's just what was cobbled together on those skeletons. It might be worth something to someone at some point, but being the hoarder that you are, I'm sure it goes straight in your bag. There is also on one of the skeletons 2 potions of water breathing, and on the final skeleton there is a potion of healing. And this is all just shaking out with the scrap metal that you pick up. The weapons are damaged beyond any kind of repair or use. They're not even worth it as scrap, but the armor, 15 pounds of scrap metal, 2 potions of water breathing, 1 potion of healing. And are you just picking all that up and putting it in your bag?
Yes.
Do you mention to anyone else what you found, or are you trying to just sneak it in without anyone seeing it?
Well, I'll the scrap metal's mine. Everything else can be everyone else's. So choose what you want, take it.
Trying to stealthily take
Potion.
15 pounds of scrap metal.
Well, she just announced it. I've got it. I'm keeping it.
I know, it's just a very
So-
funny image, though.
Yeah, this raccoon, like this piles of it, just shoving it into the bag, pulling them
Potions
apart so
don't
that they
let
fit
people
For
inside.
some
breathe
reason, I
water.
wasn't even imagining like broken armor or anything. I was just imagining like sheets of tin. Nothing to see here, guys. Fine.
And the reason you know what those are, that those potions have this like an old dot matrix printed label on them that are labeled as potion of water breathing, 2 of those, potion of healing, 1 of those. The potion of water breathing is like a light blue, bluey green ocean color, and then the potion of healing is a traditional video game red.
Well, of course it is.
Another
know
fight
yet
done
what
and
they
I
do.
never lost any hit points. I'm so excited.
With blood coming out of his nose, one of his ears, and a deep cut on his
Yeah, you
right
guys
arm.
are right.
Rick will just look up at the. Rick will just start walking towards the hallway and just deadpan, not looking at anyone, to say, "Let's get the fuck out of here."
All right.
And Rick will
You don't
start.
want the healing potion?
Rick will head back to the center and head straight up the middle.
Do you rest for a bit?
Well, Rick has walked out. Well, I will leave it there, and we can figure out where we start, and you can ask those questions at the start of the next session. But with the skeleton room, the first part of the dungeon successfully conquered. Well done. And that's where we'll leave it tonight. Thank you, everyone, for your patience. We went a little bit long. I was very carefully watching the time. And we will.
So I
now
told
find
Egg he
someone
had to
to
do a
raid.
one shot and he failed.
He was bloody close. That skeleton, I think, had 3 or 4 health left after that
Didn't
magic
do
missile. I've
any
been
more
waiting for him to
damage.
do the magic missile. I was really waiting for it. All right.
They're not. They weren't weak to force damage or anything.
No, they didn't have anything really special. They didn't have any. Actually, I can have that conversation with you off stream. But they didn't have any special vulnerabilities, or there was nothing really special about them at all. They were very,
I
very low
slayed
key.
with that first shot. I made up so much for last session.
Very quickly,
know, that was like
thank you very
3
much for hanging
misses.
out. I'm going to send you over in case you're New World players. Hang out in Baggins' chat. Even if you just lurk, get yourself the drops
I'm going to
for your New World servers. And otherwise,
skins look
follow if
cool.
you liked it. See you next Monday. The VOD will be up on YouTube by the end of the week. Peace out. Love yous all.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
All right. Stream is done.
Right, well, that was fun.